Hello there, welcome along to Let's Talk on OTI Media. My name is Colin Kelly. We're trying to promote the discussion of mental health, try and talk about it more, take away the stigma, allow people to talk about it more openly. It's something that we can't take for granted and we need to talk about on a more daily basis and have it in our normal societal talk to help people through their everyday lives. So on our series, we've been talking about a lot of different things. We've had Justin, we've had his story, we've had what to do if you need to talk about your mental health, and we've had what is mental health, and we're having more as we go through this series. But this one is going to discuss what if one of your friends or family members talks to you and says that they need help with their mental health. What should you do to help that person out? Because it is such an important part. You need to be able to be ready to have that conversation, because it might be somebody's most important discussion that they're ever going to have in their life. And sometimes, unfortunately, that person's life may even depend on it. So it's an important topic to be ready to discuss. You want to be able to handle it in the right way. And of course, we've had Justin throughout the series talking about it, and we're going to get his advice on it again. Justin, when somebody comes forward, I know it's something that you discussed in our previous episode, that it's very hard to come forward first of all and have that first step. But if somebody is coming forward and talking to you now, you also mentioned that people do come forward and talk to you due to your prior experience and you sharing those histories. What is the appropriate way, and maybe there isn't an appropriate, what is the best way to be able to make those people feel comfortable and be able to share their story?
Well, I think the important thing is to listen. Listen. Take it seriously. Depending on the approach. I mean, if someone sends you a text message or a phone call, offer to do it face to face if you can, and if they feel comfortable. I think it's important to listen, but do it in a way that feels confident, comfortable for them. If I could, I would, if a friend came to me and said that they were, struggling, then, my first instinct would be, look, what are you doing? Let's meet up. I can come to you, to your house, or we can go out and, have a drink or have a coffee or something like that. But it's to listen. It's to listen for as long as possible. Don't sort of time schedule this thing. Be open, be available at all times. And the key word is listen. Yeah. And let them do the talking. Don't interrupt them or anything like that. Just sit there, listen. Let them have their say, what they want to say. And then the conversation will just kind of, I think, flow from there. I think once they're finished, then, there's no real script to, what you say next, because, there could be depression, it could be Alzheimer's, or whatever, whatever the mental health issue is.
It's different for everyone.
But I think it's, and I think it's the conversations are going to be different. But for me, the key thing is to listen. Have eye contact with them if it is face to face. And show that you're taking this seriously. Because if you're not taking it seriously, you're going to make the situation a lot worse. Because they're just going to think, they're just going to think, oh, they don't even care. Why am I even talking to anyone? Because they don't care. Yeah. So the key thing for me would be, is to listen, take it seriously. If it's face to face, have that eye contact. I think it's important, and just let them finish. Let them finish. Let them have their say. Because at the end of the day, that's what they want. That's why they're there. They want to say it. They want to talk to you. They want to have that person to talk to, and get it off their chest. So, for me, it's listen. That is the key. There. And take it seriously, and just be there.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned as well, with mental health, the way I mentioned in the other episodes, there is no one size fits all with this. It is something that is different for everybody. The scenarios are different. The backgrounds are different. Just everything in general is different. So you have to take that step-by-step approach. You mentioned listen. That is so vitally important. Take them seriously, as you mentioned. Tell them that you understand, the situation. Tell them you're there for them. And if it needs to be something that's discussed again, the next day, a few days later, make that time for them. It's such an important step. And like we mentioned in the last show, it's very, very hard for those people to come forward and tell you that they're confiding in you. So obviously they have a huge deal of trust in you. So it's very, very important to do that. The other thing I would say is to do that research. You know, even if you don't fully understand everything that's going on, you know, there is a lot more material out there now regarding mental health, but like we're trying to promote here, some people just say, well, it doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to bother checking that out. But everyone should have that basis, because it's like any illness, it affects everybody. Even though you mightn't think it does, it doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter how good you're doing in your life. Like the one thing that really infuriates me is when somebody says, how can that person you know have depression or mental illness? They're making so much money. You know, has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with your lifestyle. It can affect everybody, so it doesn't really matter. So it's important to be able to understand and to have that conversation. Is there any other ways that you think that needs to be added on? Or I know you mentioned the key is that one, to listen.
Yeah, you made a good point in the general sense of mental health, is that, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, you could live in a mansion and you could have, you know, 6 cars sitting in the garage and all the money in the world. It's not going to matter. You know, we see professional athletes, you know, they have these mental, you know, can have mental issues. You know, they've got more on the materialistic side of things than me and you and most people watching, but it doesn't matter. Mental health doesn't pick and choose. You know, it doesn't say, oh, well, they're okay because they've got, you know, millions of dollars and, you know, this, that and the other. So yeah, it is a bit frustrating when they say, oh, how can they possibly have a mental illness? You know, they've got money, they've got this and that. It doesn't matter. So yeah, if you do know someone that's in that position where they do have a lot of money and you know, and nice cars and all that stuff, you know, if they come to you, don't just think, oh, well, this can't be possible because they've got you know, X, Y, and Z. You know, you have to be open to everybody, regardless of what their lifestyle is, what their position is, what their age is, you know, race, sex, all the rest of it. It doesn't matter. You have to have the same approach to everybody, and I think that's important as well. I think you made a good point there. Is that we have to approach everybody the same, regardless of you know, lifestyle or age or any of those things.
Yeah, and the other thing you mentioned was to take them serious, because, you know, if somebody said, I'm struggling with my mental issues, and they might say the reason they give might be for a very, very small reason, but if you smirk or, you know, giggle or laugh, you know, that can be them thinking, right, nobody cares, like you mentioned. So take them seriously, listen, and then to give them the feedback that you're there for them and to help them out along the way, because that's what we're here for. Friends, family, people are there to talk. So that's going to do it for today's edition of the show. Hopefully you have enjoyed listening in. Hopefully it has helped you. Hopefully it will help others. That is the goal of what we're doing here on Let's Talk. So spread the word, share it around on social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a comment in the section below. Let us know what you'd like to see us talk about in future. Let us know if it helped you and what you think we can do to help people to talk, and that is, as I mentioned, the goal here at Let's Talk. So you can follow me on Twitter at Overtime Ireland. My name is Colin Kelly. You can follow Justin on Twitter at Justin1278. And until we're back with another show, have a good one.